I set up Paranormal Wales with my esteemed colleague Chris, and basically because I joined the church because I was getting these things and all this paranormal was happening to me all the time, and I was told by several different mediums that I should be up on the stage doing this stuff. This amazing lady, Gwen Biss, bless her heart, she's passed away now. She took me into her class and taught me how to turn it off more than anything else, which in doing so sort of like turned it on, basically. They couldn't give me the answers I was looking for. So we set up a group to investigate the paranormal because I wanted answers myself. The first case we ever had was a really high profile one. It made the news because the young lady involved in the case wanted to move out of her council house. It was haunted. I'd obviously been learning a lot about the paranormal through personal experiences by now, so I had quite a bit of information. And we went down there and turned up, and the media were there, which I gotta be honest, it was quite a scene, because I walked in, and you got quite a few reporters and camera people and different things, and they'd all sort of clutched up in the front room, all clutching pillows, because stuff had been happening before we turned up. So there was quite an energy there when we walked in. They'd taken pictures of the case, which they had to show us. And we just sort of like investigated it as best we could. You know, the one thing you can't do is go into anybody's house and absolutely, soil your pants. So you just can't, right? Because that is just setting a precedent. You were just frightening them people. They're already in a state. So the one thing you're trying not to do is add to it.
Yeah.
And I can remember being very self-aware of that and very self-conscious of it. It was the first time I'd really felt this, sort of like on an outward perspective, this real neg, right? This real darkness, and that sort of put me on edge. It's one of them things with this field. I know so many people that have gone to the church and they've gone to different, different paranormal investigators, and they've been royally let down. I was kind of like aware of as well that I wanted to not be like that. This is the problem with paranormal photos. We all know about matrixing and different things. If you just take the picture, you don't notice something, you notice it later on, then, you can say, well, but these were actually images they were capturing as they were seeing it, right, which gives it a bit more validity. But I've always kept the belief that I believe you until I can prove otherwise. Doesn't matter what you tell me, right, because I've heard and seen, well, the most amazing things you can imagine, right, that why everybody isn't privy to, I don't know, but that's the way the world works. You've got the one picture you can see in the fourth screen where you've got the Now Debating Live, and you see it looks like a heel of a foot.
Yeah.
That photo was taken of the stairs. Now they all said there was no one on the stairs, and myself and a couple of other people I was quite skeptical of that photo.
Yeah.
It does look like it fades as it goes up the leg, but it is quite a solid foot. Now I was a bit like, but I've seen weirder. So I and these other pictures, which they've explained, they saw something and they've captured it. So I mean, it's one of them. It's not always going to be
cut and dry.
Yeah, it's one of them things you just got to take. I mean, I just take it on board, and then I sort of use that to see the level of fear the people in the house are at. And then I've got to try, with what I learned was the best thing to do was bring that fear level right down. Absolutely. With explanation, and that changes. It's empowering. You've got to empower. You've got to take control of this situation. The things that's going on around you, and it's about empowering people. Because the one thing you don't want to feel is in your home feeling vulnerable, and like things have more command over you than you have over them.
And this is the thing that you advised me, because how we met, basically, we met because I applied to join the former group. but we kind of connected and become friends because we were having experiences in our home, and that was one of the things that you told me. It's always stuck with me, is the fact that like you have a device in your pocket that can record things, and document the experience. Now, don't try and provoke it, don't try and interact with it, but just document what's happening at that time, because you will have a judgment of what it is based on what you've seen on TV. So whether that's horror films like Insidious or Most Haunted, where
you do have a preconception.
There's a preconception built up by the media and what we view as the paranormal, but not necessarily what the paranormal actually is. And I remember another case where a lady said she was having scrams, and when she showed us the scrams, we were like, well, we've seen a lot more severe than that. But children's scram, which is what you said. You said, well, children's scram. And I never thought of that. As soon as I saw scram at the time, I thought, oh my goodness, what is this?
Yeah.
And when you sort of made that distinction, I thought, well, actually, yes. It can take on an entirely different aspect to the paranormal, that it's someone trying to get your attention. And the what I say to people who come through to either myself or yourself, and I happen to speak to them first, is if I want to get your attention, I will call your name. If I don't get your attention, I will call slightly louder. If I need your attention and it's quite urgent from my point of view, then at some point I may shout at you.
When you actually physically scram, so you go to mark someone, if you do it, you can do it on yourself, right? You can sort of like go across your leg. You will find that there is 3 prominent ones, and the 4th one probably won't come out because your little finger doesn't have actually much pressure in it.
Yeah.
Right? So scientifically, I've done this on objects because I wanted to know. And children are the same. When they scram, they leave like 3 marks because you've got the 2 strongest fingers. So you've got the index finger, the one next to that. The 3rd finger will be, you'd see it if you look at paranormal documentaries and stuff, and you see people getting scrammed, like old Zach Bagans, where he gets scrammed. You'll see there's 3. But you'll see the 3rd one is not so prominent as the other 2. Now that's just science. That's physical. That's a physical effect. So, people think, oh my God, 3 scrams. They've seen the horror films. They've seen Zach Bagans doing it. They've seen this. And they're like, oh my God, it's a demon scramming me. It's not always the case. It can be children. It can be just people who are just so frustrated. They're like, listen to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They feel like it's just like a burst of energy and frustration. I've had it personally. That a little girl was actually trying to get my attention, and she scrammed me, and oh my God, put me in a frame. Before I understood all this stuff, it was really frightening. Yeah. And so I had that I had that sort of knowledge going into this.
What was the resolution to the case, the first case, your first case? What was actually going on? Is there a general sort of idea of what actually happened that you can give us?
Yeah. This was a person had come in contact with the person whose house it was, and they had a negative attachment, right? A real negative evil, because they were quite negative and evil themselves in a very big way. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it.
No.
But what this thing had done, it had jumped ship. It had seen that there was I think there was 3 girls in the house, and it knew. And they sense vulnerability. They sense the impact they can have on an individual's life. And this thing had jumped ship. And basically, it was manifesting itself as the thing they feared the most, which was a really large male figure.
Yeah.
This had been seen this had been seen when they were out the house by their neighbours. Mm-hmm. This had been seen by the neighbours and themselves in the street, because they'd run out the house in panic and they saw this thing walking back and forth in their front room.
Yeah.
And it was basically manifesting. But what it was we call it negative energy. We don't like to call it anything else, because that's what it really is. But it was negative energy, and it grown to such a point. It was feeding off anxiety and like depression, and it feeds on all that until it builds up to fear, and then it's got complete control of all the things that have a negative effect on us. And it just manifested, and that's basically it was sort of like you've got to believe in your own ability. You've got to believe in love and light, and and I always tell people this: if something was going to hurt, say you've got kids or people you love, if somebody was going to hurt someone you love, I can imagine you'd get pretty upset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You'd be like, you protect the people you love.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is how you deal with these negative forces. If they are causing the people you love fear, and they're causing them heartache, or they're causing them problems, and you stand up to them like you would anybody else. And they don't like that, right? Because they lose control. And there's one thing they don't like, is not having control. So they weaken, and you gain strength. Until in the end, they've got nothing there's no reason for them to be there. There's nothing they can gain from you. And they'll either disperse, and they'll move on, or there's techniques, so different techniques you can learn to sort of like send them somewhere else, or you can ask other entities, like other spirits of love and light and the angels, and whatever you believe in, to come in and deal with it as well. And it's sort of reaffirming and bringing your strength up and bringing its strength down.
Did you enjoy the video? If so, please give us a like and subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to join us every Wednesday at 8 PM for the Now Debate. Also, you can take a look at some of our other videos on screen now. I am Jared from Paranormal Now. That has been Richard Oliver, and thank you very much for joining us. Take care.